or in the meditation practice, all we're doing is delighting in the opportunity to feel and notice how we relate to experience. And so there's kind of this hope that we're going to have connection, right? We're going to be connected to ourselves in particular, because that was the prompt of the meditation, right? It was trying to lead you into self-connection. And when we don't have the experience that we want, there's an aversion to anything else that's not what we want, which is how we react in day-to-day life, right? It's just like, this is not what's supposed to be happening. Something else is supposed to be happening. And therefore I don't like, or I don't want this experience. I want this other thing that I was hoping to experience. And what causes the disconnection actually is the pulling away from the thing that's happening. So it's funny because we're seeking connection, and the opportunity for connection is always there with our experience, no matter what's going on. But because we have an idea of what connection is like, we miss that opportunity. So this is kind of the irony of how things work out. So what do we do with that? Right? Like, what do I do with the subwoofer that is really annoying and that's interrupting my peace? Well, I bring interest to, what does annoying feel like? Like there's like prickles on the surface of my skin. There's a rising of heat going to my face. There's a contraction that's happening in the back of my neck and my shoulders. Whoa, that's so weird. Like, that's what happens to me when I'm annoyed. At that point, I'm not annoyed anymore, because you can't be interested and annoyed at the same time. At that point, I'm curious and I'm interested and I'm engaged. At that point, I'm connected. So that's the doorway in. That whatever is happening, if we get curious about it, if we get interested, the result is connection. The result is presence. And it's wonderful to have this view. So again, we're playing around with view. It's wonderful to have this view that anything is an opportunity for connection, because what it does is it relieves us of the responsibility of having to create the conditions for connection, which is a tremendous amount of responsibility, and also is a tremendous amount of energy and effort that we put forward in trying to manage and control our experiences, right? Which leaves us exhausted, which leaves us also feeling a little bit hopeless, because in the end, it's never exactly how we want it. And the result is this inherent feeling of dissatisfaction that just is always there, no matter what we do. But the place where we do have choice is view, right? If the view is that anything that is going on is an opportunity for connection, then it completely changes what my options are, right? You can see that's a much wider possibility for connection than having the quiet without the subwoofer. And that's the part where we can play around with. I spent the day today trying to write the course description for the class I want to teach, which is the 6-week series, which is about reestablishing self-connection and self-trust. And I was really reflecting on how, as adults, while we appear to know what we're doing, we have no idea what we're doing. Like, if we're going to be honest, right? It's like nobody knows what they're doing. We're doing the best that we can, and we're spending a tremendous amount of energy in trying to reinforce the idea that we do know what we're doing and we are in control, so that nobody can find out that we actually have no idea what we're doing. And that includes ourselves, right? Because if we confess to ourselves that we have no idea what we're doing, then, oh my God, then what? And there is this kind of pervasive sense of doubt in there, even if it's masked as positionality and confidence, like overconfidence, right? It's like, no, this is the way. If there's any level of positionality around that, there's already a hint that, like, if you're defending it, there's some insecurity going on in there. And then I was thinking about children. Like, children don't sit there and start doubting what they want to do. They just do it. They have just this inner authority, if you will. And it doesn't need an explanation. It doesn't need a justification. It's us adults that will go and ask for the explanation or tell them, no, it's actually not like this, right? You need to do it like that. And I really just kind of started thinking about, at what point in our lives do we start giving up our inner authority? And why would we do that? And I was thinking, because the stakes are very high in keeping our inner authority. The stakes are that I am not conforming to what everybody else wants me to be. And as a result of that, I'm not lovable, or I'm inadequate because I'm not fitting in with everybody else. I don't get to belong if I don't participate in the way that I'm expected to participate. These are like the highest stakes. Think about it. Our need for mattering, being heard and understood, belonging to the larger group, feeling safety, protection, connection. And as we go from parenting to then school systems to, the society at large, it's like our inner authority gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And we assume this other personality that is the one that is accepted and is okay to be with everybody else, that gets reinforced. But there is just this sense of doubt. There's a sense of doubt about, like, how come, even if I follow what everybody else is saying how it's supposed to be, I don't feel satisfied. I don't feel connection. I still don't feel like I matter. How come, no matter how many classes I take, how many times I go to the gym, how many therapy sessions I sign up for, how much self-improvement I do, it's still not enough. And at this point, it's not that it's not enough for other people. It's no longer enough for me, because my inner critic is still dissatisfied. I could do better. I should be experiencing something else. It's been decades. I should be at a different place in my life. So what does that leave us with? Well, we can take it personally and think that we failed ourselves. Or we can get angry and blame the external world. Or we can look at it as information. The actions that I have taken, the choices that I have made, have not led to a sense of connection and mattering to myself, and maybe a little bit to others, but not at the depth in which I'm wanting. So it's not a problem. It's just the wrong view. And the wrong view is generating wrong action. And the view is that if I give up my inner authority, if I stop listening to what it is that I want, and I do everything that is being asked of me, I will reach some level of happiness, connection, acknowledgement, whatever you want to call it. It's not true. Wrong view. So instead of identifying with that, meaning making it about me, how did I fail myself, or making it about them, like, oh my God, this is what the world has shaped me into being, I'm a victim. I just look at it objectively. Okay, that was the wrong view on how things are. That led to incorrect action. And here's the result, and here's the impact. Right? That's mindfulness. I'm just tracking what's going on. Okay, so that doesn't work. Let's try something else. Let's listen to what I want. And let's do that instead. And let's track the impact. What happens? Do I feel more connected? Does it increase my engagement? Does it increase my sense of joy? Am I more in alignment with what is reliably true, which is my way? Or is self-sacrificing a better option? What does that feel like in the body? What kind of emotions does that generate? That's my evidence, right? It's just like, okay, we experiment, we try something else. I get the data from that and I can compare the two. And I can be like, oh, okay, well, that one feels like it's a little bit more in alignment with what is correct for me. So I'm going to do a little bit more of that. I'm going to run a few more experiments and see what happens. And all of a sudden, we start noticing that there is another way. And that other way is your way. Because you are unique. You have a unique configuration, constellation of needs, of experiences, of wounds that has led to your unique self. And that can't be put into a cookie cutter formula of how you should navigate your life. And so with the evidence that, hey, I don't really fit into this and there's a different way, maybe I'm willing to start taking small risks of not conforming and not self-sacrificing and do it my way. Start doing it my way and start seeing how does that orient me in my life and what starts to happen as a result of that. And we need to experiment and we need to take risks in trying our way to get the evidence to build the trust that this process actually might be a better one for us, right? It's not blind faith. And we do it in small little increments. A friend calls me up, who really wants to see me, haven't seen them in a long time. I'm feeling a little guilty. I don't really want to see them. I actually want to do something else, but I'm feeling kind of guilty and I'm about to self-sacrifice. Because if I don't do that, then they're going to feel a particular way. I'm going to be responsible for how they feel, blah, 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 right? That, you know how it goes. And if instead, when they call and they say, hey, I haven't seen you in a really long time, I just tell them, I'm feeling conflicted because I'm really undercapacitated right now and am thinking that staying home and resting would serve me better. And I actually want to be with you when I'm at my full capacity. And at the same time, I realize I haven't seen you in a really long time and I'm feeling a little guilty about that. And I'm not really sure how to resolve this inner conflict. That's all I do. I state what is happening. That's mindfulness. And then I wait and see what they have to say. Right now, if they are a friend, really a friend, and they care about me, they'll be like, honey, stay home and rest. If they have something else going on, it's just like, you know what? I just had this, I'm having a really, really hard time and I can't be alone. Maybe I will choose in that moment, like, you know what, actually, this is pressing, this is important, you know? Or if there's any kind of feeling that somehow this person doesn't see my needs as important, maybe I just have to kind of draw a line, it's just like, yeah, I think that the more I'm talking to you, what I'm realizing is I really need to stay home. So I'll reach out to you tomorrow with other possible times for hanging out, right? And we're rewarded with that, right? The body's going to give a biofeedback that if we stay in alignment with what is needed, if we don't self-sacrifice, we feel relief. We also feel a tiny bit of energy and empowerment come to us, like, oh, I just took care of myself. I actually feel better than when I was on the phone right now. Right? And there's a sense of like courage. Maybe I can try this in other places. Where else can I just be honest and not have to worry about rejection, or being punished for it afterwards? So I'm also going to choose places that are safe to try this out. And this is how we start building our confidence. Like confidence in our ability to discern what is right or wrong for us, and our confidence in being able to offer that to others, to state what's true, and know that we can actually put a safe boundary to protect our well-being, regardless of what's going on for the other person. And this inner knowing is all we have that's reliable. And if we trust it, it will take us to unimaginable possible states and experiences that are so different than what we're experiencing today. If the choice or the view that we're using is the view of, I need to fit into what somebody else has created or what somebody else wants. So I'll just leave you with that as a reflection to play around with. What's it like when you choose you?